The Chuck Knoxx Show. Don't go to bed Mondays without it.
Welcome back, Giants fans, to another edition of the Chuck Knoxx Show. On this post-game Week 7, the Giants have just defeated the Washington Commanders 14-7 as they stopped the bleeding at home in a thriller that almost looked like it was just going to be another heart attack. It was another heart attack. And let's talk about it. Wow, what a game. Before we get into it, of course, the Chuck Knoxx Show is brought to you by today's sponsor, GiantsSocial.com, the all things Giants social media site. Sign up today. Get all your favorite content from your favorite Giants content creators in one place. And really the place to be for the second half of this season. And after today, it looks like there's a lot to talk about in the second half of this season. Because just when you think the Giants are dead, and I've been saying this all week, do not bury a Brian Daboll-led team. Here they come with 3 winnable games in front of them. And it started right here with Washington, and they took care of business today. Wow. And I barely had enough voice to talk about today because I was screaming my head off, which you're going to see in the post-game reaction Knoxter Piece video live reaction series. But wow, this game felt like one of those games where you're going to have 2 well-coached teams. Every time these 2 teams meet, it's either a fucking last-minute play or, as we saw last year, a tie. The Giants just were on a mission. You could feel it. From what we learned earlier today, before the game even starts, we learned that Brian Daboll led a team meeting throughout the weekend where he basically took over the offensive play calling. Did he call every shot today? I don't know. I don't think so. But what we learned is Brian Daboll took over the offensive meetings. And that's something he has not done here. It's something, that he probably needed to do. And you could just feel it. The team felt the sense of urgency about this season. And this opportunity right here was a tremendous opportunity to get right back into things. And Washington's no slouch. That was a tough game. That's a tough team over there. And we always play each other tough. 14-7 Giants. Really, we left a lot of points on the board. Arguably, over 20-some points on the board. You have the Gano missed field goal, which I don't know if he just shanked it or there was a wind coming out of there. It looked like it was a little bit of a gust coming down there on that end. You had the Sterling Shepard return that was fumbled, which ended up being the points that came right off there for the Washington Commanders. That's how they got their 7 points. And then, of course, you had the Saquon fumble in the red zone, which was going to come for at least 3, maybe another 7 there. But Giants defense, the story of the day for me is the Giants defense. Because without the Giants defense coming out right from the start hot, nothing that opened up on the offense was remotely possible. Because the Giants are so used to playing catch-up. They're always used to responding. The defense just let them have nothing. They continued with what we saw in Buffalo. The momentum that we needed to see carry over, it was here. And it was early. But the Giants offense, what can be said about Tyrod Taylor? Tyrod Taylor and the offensive line, the story of the offensive side of the game. Tyrod Taylor, all he had to do was just make no mistakes in some resemblance of a mediocre offense. And you play like you played in Buffalo, and you were going to win this game, and that's what happened. Just an outstanding day from Tyrod Taylor, 18 of 29, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. Give the boost. The Giants scored all their points in the first half. But the touchdown to Waller finally gets his first touchdown as a Giant. Big day from Waller. 7 receptions for 1 touchdown, 98 yards. Barkley had a big play on another receiving swing pass from Tyrod Taylor. 21 carries, 77 yards for Barkley. Probably would have got in on that end zone, on the red zone play. But then also you had the Jaylen Hyatt. The 2 bombs to Jaylen Hyatt really is what set everything in motion. We've been asking for this for weeks as fans. Just open it up. Just take some shots. to Hyatt, and there was a couple ones that were overthrown, and then the one where Hyatt had to bat down the interception. I don't mind that at all. I love it. He adds such a different wrinkle to this offense. And to see finally him come alive and being able to be trusted enough to take those shots, outstanding. But that first half defense, I mean, you shut out. The story of the game was that the Washington Commanders entered halftime down 14-0. I think they had a total of 44 yards in the first half. Punt after punt after punt. Giants outstanding again here. Penalties. 10 penalties for 75 yards for Washington compared to the Giants, 4 for 40. And you're not going to, a team like Brian Daboll, when the Giants are on, that's how you're going to get beat. 6 sacks for the Giants defense today. The turnover by Banks, which was huge. Banks, again, had another outstanding day. Continues to have an outstanding season. Absolutely love the game plan that Wink brought to the Redskins, to the Commanders. And you knew you were going to get everything. Throw everything at the kitchen sink. Throw it at the wall. Because you had to save your season. This is where we're at now. One of the plays of the game, though, the absolute monster play in the fourth quarter. The blocked field goal by Leonard Williams. Been waiting for this for a long time and trying to call the shot for a long time. And wow, the Big Cat gets the job done. Tremendous, outstanding, total team win here on all 3 phases of the game. Talked about it going into the season, going into the week, all season last week. This team had to have, you had 2 out of the 3 phases come out and show up in Buffalo. You had to have all 3 if you were going to take this victory today at home. And that's exactly what happened. All 3 phases of the game on fire. And I don't know, now we have to talk about it. There's going to be a lot to talk about coming out of this game. And a lot of people are going to start the Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor quarterback controversy. I don't think there's a quarterback controversy. But I will say, at this point, Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback of the New York Giants. Are there a lot of plays that Daniel Jones could have made that Tyrod Taylor made today? Yes, there is. Are there vice versa some plays that maybe the other person does or doesn't make? Yeah, they're 2 different quarterbacks. And we have to acknowledge the fact that the Giants have led now. This was the NFL leading 6th different offensive line unit that the Giants displayed here, leading the league. And it was one of the best so far. Not saying that Tyrod, had all day to throw. Some of those plays he did. Poor Justin Pugh could do only so much against Chase Young. And that, Washington front, they got theirs when they needed to. But really, the offensive line did an outstanding job. This unit, and next week, we're hearing next week that you're going to get, this could be the week that you're going to get Andrew Thomas back. You're down Evan Neal today. You're down 3 starters up front. And then you got 2 practice squad guys and 1 guy that's been on the team. 2 guys. But next week, you could have an offensive line that has Evan Neal back. He missed this week. If not, I'm completely fine with Phillips being out there. You have, hopefully, Thomas back. You're able to shift Pugh back inside. The frustrating thing here now, because I think we're almost 100% going to get Thomas back. But the frustrating thing now is what the hell happens with JMS. This shoulder injury, at first it seemed like maybe a game. But I think this was, the 3rd or 4th game he's on now. They didn't put him on IR. So obviously the Giants don't believe it was going to be a long-term thing. But man, if you can get Thomas, and you can get your full offensive line back with Daniel Jones, where we're going to go here, we're going to talk about this all week because fans are going to be out of their mind. With this story, the New York media is going to eat it alive all week. And you know it. And let's be real. I don't believe there's a quarterback controversy. I believe that if Daniel Jones is ready to go, he'll be starting. If that's the case coming up this Sunday for the Jets game, he'll be starting. But that being said, you got to give it to Tyrod Taylor for even making that an argument. Because as a Giants fan, when Daniel went down the last time, and you got guys like Mike Glennon coming in, and Jake Fromm, I mean, there's no inspiration. There's nothing that inspires you as a Giants fan to say, yeah, I'll have total faith in this. Because I don't care how much you dislike Daniel Jones. At the end of the day, when he goes down, your first initial reaction is fuck. But having a guy like Tyrod Taylor, who knows a Brian Daboll-led offense, who's a veteran quarterback, who can offer something different sometimes than what Daniel Jones is doing. And especially when Jones is, right now, this offense needed some life. The shots down the field, whether that's a byproduct of Tyrod Taylor reading the pocket better, whether that's the next different version of the offensive line, or whether it's just the fact that where Brian Daboll and Kafka are comfortable with a guy like Jaylen Hyatt being able to get these kind of targets. Whatever is happening, thank God it's happening in regards to Jaylen Hyatt. Jaylen Hyatt's a difference maker. It's almost like watching him on the field. And again, it's way too early, way, way, way too overreaction. But that's what we're due here. But it's almost like when you have Saquon on the field, when Barkley's on the field, that you got an extra chance. You got like an elevated chance. And we see that. When he's on the field, the Giants' chances of at least extending the drive, let alone winning the game, go up exponentially. They go up. It's impossible. And I'm not remotely saying that Hyatt is on that caliber, but I'm saying that when he's on the field, number one, defenses are going to start and they're learning to respect this kid. You can coach up everything you want, but at the end of the day, speed kills. Speed can turn anybody into a fool. And it can change the dynamic of the game. And look at the play in Arizona, the big plays to Hyatt, changed the outcome of the game, changed the momentum of the game. And now here, fast forward, second win of the season. Is it a coincidence that the shot in the arm, again, comes off big plays to Hyatt? When you're unable to move the ball and you're staring down another 3 and out, way back at your 20-yard line, 20, 30-yard line, and next thing you can just take the top off the defense for 30, 40 yards and you're in field goal range already? Are you kidding me? For a team that struggles to move the ball and a team that struggles to get anywhere close to the red zone, what a weapon the Giants have unleashed with the rookie Jaylen Hyatt. I'm so proud of this team right now to be able to have the ability to not give up, as trendy as it is for the fans and Twitter and everybody else to think this team tanks. Professionals, and especially a Brian Daboll-led locker room, they don't tank for shit. It's embarrassing. And I often wonder, when fans bring that up, did you ever play at any level? 90% of us were never good to play outside of high school. But did you play backyard football? Did you play anywhere other than that didn't require Bluetooth and a controller? Because anybody that's ever played at any level, your competitive spirit, you don't fucking lay down. You don't give up half an effort. And again, the Giants have sucked for 11 years, for the majority of 11 years. What has getting a top draft pick done? The difference is you've lost a lot. You lose a lot. You've lost 8 out of the last 10 seasons. What hasn't changed is you've got the L's. You had enough L's to get the picks. All the picks that don't matter when you have a losing culture. That's why you don't tank. You saw it in Buffalo last week. You saw it today on Legacy Day. Here's why you don't tank. Because winning culture changes everything. One win leads to two. Two leads leads to three, so on. And wow, we have a chance. We actually have a chance. So proud. So proud of this team. So proud of Brian Daboll to cancel out the noise, too, that he's lost the locker room or anything like that. Boy, these guys came out to fight every single phase of the game. Coached their ass off, too. Not going to get too ahead of things. My God, we're going to take this one in. We're going to sleep well tonight. But it's hard not to look ahead. When you look at that schedule, this was penciled in as a win. This is the National Football League. Things change. The Lions just got demolished today. What, like 38 to 6? I don't even know what the final score was by the Ravens. They were a Super Bowl contender leading in today. They were one of the top 3 teams. Everybody in this league is beatable. This league has different. We were 5-1 last year. We come into this year 1-5. You never know from 1 week, from 1 year, what this league is going to offer. And so now the Giants can look at themselves, be proud of themselves, and look at the work that they have to do, which is still a lot. This was an ugly win. It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win. A win stops the bleeding and saved the season. 2 very winnable games coming up before that Dallas trip. You stay at home. You host the Wilson-led Jets. No, look, they lost Rodgers, but they have pretty much everybody else. They were, predicted to be a Super Bowl champion caliber team. I mean, they had like 80% of that puzzle without Rodgers. They just needed a higher end quarterback. But Wilson's looked a lot better in the last 2 weeks. The Jets defense is going to keep them in that game. Not saying that's like a easy turn, win for the Giants just because Rodgers is on the sidelines. But that's a winnable game. Stadium will probably be 70, 80% Giants. It's a home game for us, but you know how that's going to be. It's going to be split. But there's no excuses. I don't know what's going to happen next week, whether it's Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor. I know we're going to get some guys back. We looked like we got out of this game, knock on something. For the most part. I think Barkley's injury that he had with his arm doesn't look too serious. All that will come out, obviously, in the next 24, 48 hours. But right here, a real shot for the Giants to go. Stay at home. Take that. You take that, you're 3. You're 3-5. And then you travel to a really free-falling Raiders team out in Vegas. Almost said the Vaders. But that is a real shot of having the chance to go 4-5 heading into Dallas. And you want to talk about a team that would be somebody that you don't want to fuck with, somebody that you don't want to see coming down your schedule. The past is the past. Yeah, I know what they did to us week 1. But I'm just saying, if, and that's a big if. We're going to go quarter by quarter, but if the Giants were to head into Dallas 4-5, throw everything out the window. What a win. What a win. What a team win for this team. Also, you know what? Proud of this fan base that showed up today at MetLife. Haven't had a chance to have a 1 o'clock start at home all season long. We missed this. We needed these. Early start. Giants offense came out early. Energy was on fire right from the start. Nothing but hats off to the Giants fans staying in there. And I hope those that were, wanting to tank, that were giving up on the season, I hope that after the Buffalo game and after this, you realize there's a lot of fight left. A lot left in this season and a lot of fight and heart left in the Brian Daboll-led, maybe Tyrod Taylor-led New York Football Giants. A lot to talk about as the week goes. Like I said, this is a win. It's a win. 2-5 is a lot better than 1-6. And the New York Giants right now have saved their season. Outstanding win today. And we'll talk about it all on this week. You know where to find me, Giants fans. I will be all over this all week long talking my shit. On Facebook and YouTube, it's Mr. Chuck Knoxx. And everywhere else, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, Chuck Knoxx, at Chuck Knoxx. And, of course, right here, the Chuck Knoxx podcast, the Chuck Knoxx Show, available everywhere that you get your podcast. We'll have a pregame for the Jets game, and by then we'll know some more of these injuries, and we'll know who's going to lead us under center, who is going to get number 3, because we have right here a mission to start stacking W's. The 4-5 train takes off today in MetLife. Get on it, board on it, or get out of the fucking way. Until later on this week, Giants fans, I'll talk to you then. Until then, I am out.